Living Truth Channel. How you guys doing today? All right. Sound like you guys are doing blessed. That's always a blessing, you guys. That's always a blessing.
It is like evil has a seat here.
Well, a brutal and unprovoked attack is captured on camera. 3 women walking along an East Passyunk sidewalk were minding their own business when a man showed up and began to punch them. This assault happened last night on the 1200 block of Morris Street. As Alicia Roberts reports, it's left a neighborhood on edge.
The attacker didn't take anything from his victims and just casually walked off when it was over. We do want to warn you, this video is difficult to watch.
I heard screaming.
3 women walking down the 1200 block of Morris Street Wednesday night shortly before 11:30 when an unknown man comes up from behind and out of nowhere strikes one of them in the face. He turns, punching a second woman, knocking her down before going in for another hit. When the third woman tries to stop him, he pins her against a wall and starts swinging until she stumbles backward onto the sidewalk.
They were screaming so loud, like they were screaming for their lives.
Neighbors who heard and saw the attack still reeling from it all.
It was just ridiculous the way he was beating that young lady. And the other 2 young ladies, they were helpless. I mean, they tried their best because I know 2 of them jumped on him and he threw them on the ground.
As unprovoked as it started, the man paces for a moment, appearing to charge towards one of the women, only to keep going past her.
It's just amazing. He just stopped and casually walked down the street.
Police arrived a few minutes later, but the man got away. Why he did it is still unknown.
Just to know that you can be doing absolutely nothing and get attacked, it's really scary.
Now this community is left to wonder if he'll try something like this again.
I'm at the point where I'm like, when it gets dark, I just don't leave my house.
The women were treated for their injuries at the hospital. Police are asking for the public's help to identify the man who did this as the investigation continues. Outside.
It is like evil has a seat here.
Also tonight, police are searching for the teenagers who they say killed a hard-working 24-year-old man who was just trying to cash his paycheck and hurt a 34-year-old woman in the process.
Neal Smith is the name of the man who was shot and killed on Argyle Road 10 days ago. In a story you'll only see on 10 TV, Crime Tracker 10's Lacey Chris spoke with Smith's family and reveals who police are looking for.
Witnesses told Columbus police Neal Smith tried to give the suspects the money, saying just take it. They shot him 13 times anyway, killing him.
They ran up. Me and my best friend were talking in my car.
And what happened?
I don't know what happened. Some little boys were shooting.
I'm gonna miss him terribly.
Shirley Leaks is Neal Smith's grandmother. She says he went down the street to the corner market to cash his paycheck to pay bills. But Columbus police say 17-year-old Jabrell McClendon, 16-year-old Taiwan Gavin, and 21-year-old Keanu Logan saw the cash and followed Smith.
And he told him to take the money. Senseless? Yes. I know the world is wicked, with no conscience.
The female, she said that Neal fell right next to her, and Neal apologized to her.
Columbus Police Detective Terry Cowley says it didn't appear that Smith knew the suspects. They just wanted his money.
What we can determine from that is the fact that it was a robbery where Neal tried to do what he was told to do and give them the money and then run for his own safety, and they shot him anyways.
Kelly says thanks to the public's help, they were able to identify the 3 suspects, but that they still have not been arrested. All 3 are facing aggravated murder charges.
You know, I really want the boys who did this as an example. And I know it's so many young people out there. This needs to be a lesson.
Had more answers.
Our community is in the seat of darkness, you know. You can feel it, you can see it, people recognize it. It's as if evil has a seat here.
She says at times she feels suffocated by the violence they haven't been able to get a hold of for years, decades.
When death, destruction, fear, apathy, primarily rule a community, there needs to be, some spiritual intervention in that, as well as those other outside resources.
But says though she worries constantly about the shootings, the overdoses, and fires that can't seem to stay away, she'll try to find comfort in the simple things.
Example of a violent 72 hours in the city. A Milwaukee woman also died on her front porch Friday night.
Her family says the shooter was somebody that she loved. Fox 6's Aaron Maben live in Milwaukee, where her family is really struggling with this unexpected loss. Right, Aaron?
And Cynthia Walker's family isn't quite sure what happened moments before she was shot to death Friday night. They are one of several Milwaukee families grieving after a weekend of violence.
I don't need pictures to remember my mother. It's there.
Keisha Walker is finding comfort in the memories of her mother.
Everybody called her moms. She fed everybody.
Family says Cynthia Walker was shot and killed Friday night. Milwaukee police tell Fox 6 this is a domestic violence related case. The 66-year-old died on her front porch near 44th and Meineke just before 9:30. Keisha Walker says her 7-year-old son found his grandmother's body.
He said, "Ma, I heard a loud pop, and then I heard something that sounded like it fell." He said, "So I thought my granny fell, so I took off." He said, "When I got downstairs, my granny was laying there bleeding."
Homicides kept Milwaukee police busy over the weekend. At least 6 people died in separate shootings across the city.
I would not put this on anybody.
No formal charges yet. That's why Fox 6 is not naming the 61-year-old Milwaukee man police arrested in connection with Walker's death.
I hate you.
It's pain. This family,
and nothing good is never going to come to you. I hate you.
Hopes no one else will have to bear.
Anybody that is watching this is going through what my mother was going through, and they are hiding it. They need to get away because the outcome is not good. If a person loves you, they shouldn't want to love you to death.
Court's family gracious enough to let us into their home during this unimaginable time. Wife Christine Court says she wanted to share her story because her husband Lorne, of course, a hero, a police officer, but he was their hero, a husband and a father.
He always made us feel like he was invincible.
It was the comfort, reassurance that Officer Lauren Courts made his family feel every time he put on the uniform.
He was so proud to be a police officer. He followed in his dad's footsteps, and he loved going out there every day, and like he would tell us, keeping the bad guys off the streets.
One of those bad guys ended Lauren's life Wednesday night. Christine Court says her husband volunteered to work a double shift when it happened.
He had called me and we were texting back and forth, and typically he doesn't call me when he's at work because he's at work, and so I'm glad I got that conversation with him, and I said, "Be safe." And he said, "You know I will." And then later on we were texting, and I said, "I just worry about you." He said, "I'll be all right." And I said, "I'm always going to worry about you." I just never thought I was going to get that phone call, and it's almost like an out-of-body experience.
The 19-year-old gunman perched from a second-story window in an ambush attack. Lauren didn't have a chance.
When the doctors came in, I knew, I felt it. I couldn't stop crying, and when she said, "We did all we could do," I just felt like it wasn't me sitting there. Like, this can't be me, this can't be my reality. And my first thing was, what am I gonna tell my kids?
Daughter, 9-year-old Devin, wearing her dad's Batman shirt, a nickname for him, and hers was Sugarfoot.
Lauren had mints in his pocket at any given time, the little wintergreen mints. And even if she was sleeping, he would still kiss her goodbye, and he would tape a little mint to the fridge for her. In fact, he did that Wednesday morning.
Their son Darian, 15 years old, his dad's best buddy.
And when he got into being a cop, he gave me this wristband, and we both wore it on our right wrist, and he never took it off, even the day he died.
Yeah. How much does that mean to you now?
The world.
They said their goodbyes at Sinai Grace Hospital. Darian, looking over his dad's body, says he feels robbed.
I just was thinking about how he had so much left to teach me, and he wanted to make sure that going into the real world, I was the best man I could be.
What are you gonna miss most?
The way he would look at me and smile with his eyes. He would just kind of give you this look, and then even though I would go to bed sometimes without him, waking up he was there, and he's not gonna be there anymore.
Jessica Dupnack.
If you bow down, God will give you your crown. He will give you your crown. Just bow down. Just bow down. He is coming around. Just bow down, bow down. Just bow down. He will give you your crown.